This is the start of the college section where we will be talking a lot about what to expect during your college experience and what factors will contribute to your medical school application. This video will specifically focus on choosing a major, which I know is a big decision that a lot of pre-med students struggle with, and I'm hoping by the end of this video you will not only be more informed, but more confident in whatever you decide to pursue in your studies. I want to start by discussing the differences between majors and minors. A major is the focus of your studies in college. When you graduate with a Bachelor's of Science or a Bachelor's of Arts, those are representative of the major you had while in college. If I graduate after having majored in biology, then my bachelor's degree implies that that is what I am trained in regardless of however many other classes I took. Typically, majors can range anywhere from 30 to 36 total credit hours to complete, and they are broader in nature. This means there will be many classes you can choose from to earn your degree. However, you will also have to complete classes that might seem irrelevant to your major. For instance, my biological sciences major required me to complete a number of chemistry, OChem, and physics classes. While it's nice as a pre-med student to complete those, when you just look at the biological sciences by itself, it seems odd to have to complete so many chemistry classes when there are separate majors for that. This is because these programs want you to have a broad mastery in similar topics. There will also be varying levels of the classes you are offered to complete, like how some schools will tell you to complete a certain number of advanced level classes regardless of what you pick. In contrast, minors are more of a specialization than a focus. They are there so students can explore interests of theirs as they study. It gives the pre-med student an opportunity to go outside of the typical classes and find passion in any field of study. These tend to not require as many credit hours and will be a bit narrower in scope because of the specialized nature. When I minored in math, I was not asked to complete related classes that may have been part of a math major, but rather only classes that are specific to math. There will also be varying levels of difficulty in these requirements, just like a major, so you will have to take higher level classes at some point to complete a minor. Lastly, minors will show up on your transcript, but you will not get an additional degree for completing them. So all of this begs the question, what majors or minors are best to focus on as a pre-med? Well, before we get into that, I want to tell you about a commonly believed myth. Med school insiders coined this term the pre-med major myth, which basically states that as a pre-med student, you have to major in biology because that is the most relevant for medical school. To see if this was true or not, they did a study in 2022 by looking at the previous application year, and if you want to check it out, I have put in the link to that study. Of all the applicants during 2021, only 58.5% were biology majors. This means almost half of the students applying to medical school did not major in biology. So what did they major in? Here's a breakdown. 9% majored in social sciences, which includes things like economics or government. 8% majored in physical sciences. 4% were in specialized health sciences like physical therapy or nursing. 3% focused on the humanities like English or literature, and 0.5% majored in math. 16% majored in something not even listed here. As you can see, there is a wide variety of majors among pre-med students, alluding to the fact that there is no one answer for what to major in. I'll also give you some statistics to illustrate this point even more. In that same year, they found the average MCAT scores and acceptance rates based on what major the applicant had. The average MCAT scores were as shown, with math being the highest. Look at biology all the way down in 4th place. So clearly, being in a biology major on average didn't make a huge difference when it came to the MCAT. Now here are the acceptance rates. Humanities is actually at the top, which is arguably the furthest thing from biology on that list. These acceptance rates give two messages. First, that once again, being a biology major did not mean you had a better chance to be accepted to medical school on average. I will stress this again and again in my other videos, but the goal of your application should be to highlight what makes you stand out as a unique applicant. Going down the route of a biology major might seem too normal if you don't have other substance in your application. The second thing it tells us is that the MCAT isn't the most important factor in getting accepted, which I know some students stress about. Getting a good score is important, but those aspects that will make you stand out are even more important. Things like why you want to be a doctor, what you did during your free time, what are you interested in. This should further reinforce the idea that you can absolutely pursue whatever degree interests you the most in college. It doesn't have to be biology. Now, while you don't necessarily need to major in biology, there are a number of prereqs that most medical schools will require. I have attached a link from the AAMC that details the exact requirements for every medical school, but in general, all of them will ask for these: 1 year of bio with a lab, 1 year of Gen Chem and OChem with labs, 1 year of physics with a lab, and 1 year of English. Schools typically will ask for you to reach a certain level in math, take a semester of biochemistry, take a psychology or sociology class, and all other sorts of things. It is important that you understand which requirements are asked of you by the schools you are interested in. If you end up applying to a school where you don't have some requirements, then consider taking some extra classes in the summer or during a gap year. I talk about all the great things you can do during a gap year in its own video, but making up credits for your application is definitely one of them. The reason biology is such a popular major is because a lot of the classes you have to take line up with the prereqs of medical school. However, that doesn't mean you can't just major in something else and then take the prereqs separately. Going beyond prerequisites, there are a lot of classes that I would recommend you take. Now, you shouldn't try to take all of these since you will only need a few to meet your higher level class requirements if you major in a science, but even if you don't major in bio or chem, you should still try to take these. Why? Because high level classes that are focused on an organ system or even taking an anatomy class will reflect similar content to what you will learn in medical school. I cannot tell you how much easier anatomy was for me compared to my classmates because I took a couple of anatomy and physiology courses in undergrad. I'm also noticing that the organ systems I struggle the least with in medical school are the ones I had classes for in undergrad. These aren't necessarily prereqs that you have to take, but I thought I should mention them since they will definitely prepare you well for the material you will learn in medical school. Okay, classes aside, how do you even choose what major you want to take in the first place? It seems like a lot of pressure since that is what you will be dedicating most of your time in college to. Well, if I'm being honest, I think you should at least consider majoring in biology, but that comes with a caveat I will get to later. At the end of the day, having all the prereqs lined up is super convenient and will save you a lot of time and energy to focus on extracurriculars or other aspects of your application. I have made an entire section of videos just for extracurriculars if you are interested in learning more about those. Anyway, here's the caveat. You shouldn't only focus on biology. Ask yourself what you are interested in. Just because you are majoring in biology doesn't mean you can't take other classes, can't minor in something, or even major in something else. Remember, you are not limited to one major, and I actually strongly recommend trying to double major in something. It not only makes you stand out for having extra credentials, experience, and knowledge, but shows schools you have a passion for learning and enough discipline to major in it. I personally majored in applied physiology and health management, which would fall under the specialized health sciences category I showed you in a previous slide. Majoring in that, in addition to biology, may have been the best decision I ever made. Not only did I get experience in classes like anatomy, exercise physiology, cardiovascular physiology, and biomechanics, which I honestly think better prepared me for the first year of med school compared to a biology major, but I also got all my research opportunities through that major. Because it wasn't as popular as biology, I was in smaller classes and was able to build strong relationships with my professors and stand out more. Most of my opportunities as an undergrad came from this separate major that a lot of pre-med students didn't take at my school. But hey, if you don't think you'll have the time or energy to major in a whole other thing, I get it. You may have to work your way through college to earn money, or you might just want to commit more time to the extracurriculars that will boost your application. Whatever it is, you should at least consider doing a minor or two. They are much less of a time commitment, but still strong things for you since they show a passion for learning a given subject. At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself what combination of majors and minors will give you the best ability to prepare for med school, which minors will complement your major, deciding what to take based on all the time commitments so that you can put eggs into other baskets. And if you don't want to major in biology, or anything similar, that's totally fine. As long as you take the prereqs, it could be a very interesting story to talk about what you learned on your application or during your interviews. Ask yourself what you want to learn about during your time at college and which pathways will give you the greatest opportunity to prepare for medical school. At the end of the day, if you have answered those questions, then you will have picked the correct major regardless of what your classmates or friends are doing.